So now we're looking, you can see that's a V Tech Honda engine right there. So these are fast little cars. Now, the nuts are precariously placed. Underneath my boo's hand right there, there's two of us doing this, the boo and me. Now, we might not be using the right tools. It's these, either way, the top one's not very easy to get to. You see that red cap? That's a radiator container, and you got to lift that, little fangs, it has little teeth that go in the fangs, and lift that out just to get to the thing. And then finally find the torque, and eventually, once he was able to loosen the nut, rather, once he had to put a tire iron on this tool. I believe it was a different tool, actually, some pliers of some sort, and then he had to crank it like with a lot of force. But eventually it came off. And then there's that other one down there that's really hard to get to. In order to get to that one, you actually, first of all, jack the car up first things first. And you'll see that in a little bit here, that the car is jacked up. Turn the wheel all the way to the passenger side, because this is going to be on your driver's side. Basically right there, see that? That's in front of your steering wheel. Okay, now it gets dark. Use lights, so you'll see a lot of lights. You see where the wing nut was missing in that last video, or the last image. This here's an endoscope camera, so it's got a 6-foot long cord that goes down in there, and you can see it really helped a lot, because not only does it have a flashlight on it for when it got dark on us. This was attempt 2, their second attempt at it. You know, we did start when it's bright out. You can see that right here. And we were using it then as well, because down there in the engine, you're going to need the flashlight on that thing to see what's going on down there. And that's just a great way of getting under the car without getting under the car, you know, seeing the bottom of the belt and so forth, like you just saw right there. That's the little, right there, those are those fangs I was talking about. You just lift it straight out. You see those white teeth, they come right on out of those copper, if it's copper mounting, and just move it just a little bit. It'll buy you about 1.5 inches, not much. But sometimes all you need is a millimeter. So you're down here now. This is the bottom second bolt. And you can see the old belt is still on there. This is not an easy task. And if you don't know what you're doing like we don't, it's even harder. So you can see the belt. This is a top view of what we just saw down there on the ground. So that's pretty cool. Using my endoscope is always fun. It comes in handy for things like this. So now we could see what we're doing. The problem we encountered here was just that, well, we didn't really know what we're doing. We had to watch some other YouTube videos. Everyone's saying you have to take the tire off, but that would help. Like I said, every millimeter counts. But it wasn't necessary to get to the bolts, or maybe it was, because we're just going to have to see how this one goes here. So you can see where the bolts are. You can see where the belt is. This is, again, through the endoscope camera. No, the data's not correct on that. That's something I need to reset. No, I don't have a memory chip in this one currently. We get some glove action from my boy down there. But basically, he's able to move that camera around and adjust it to where we can diagnose it. We can both just stand up here and look at it after he's adjusted it to where he wants it. You don't even need to get your hand down there to adjust it, but he was doing something to the bolt simultaneously. So, but then once, you can see right there, about to put that on the nut, but it's really hard to get that angle. And that's not because of the tire placement necessarily, it's just other parts of the engine. It's kind of a pan out shot of it. So don't think this is not my engine just because you're seeing that bright thing. Again, that is the endoscope camera with the 6-foot cord. Now you can see the bottom of the old belt there. See that? From the top of the engine. So it's cool, it's great, and it really helps a lot. Like I said, it could help you see what to do. So there's my boo. He's getting that bottom bolt off. But it's tough. See, there's a tire iron again for leverage. Doing the same trick on that one. But again, you're going to get less leverage because you're lying on your back on the ground, and it's jacked up on a small jack is what we used here. And it would be a lot easier if that tire wasn't there. That would just be a straight shot. You can see it right there. So I would advise, probably like all the other videos, that you do need to take the tire off. Just the front tire on the driver's side. I think if you whip that off, it'd be much easier to get to. And then on the top, you know, we already showed you to move that little guy. That's the wing, where the wing nut goes on the top, and there's also one on the bottom. The wing nuts were missing on both, which I find interesting. I wonder if the mechanic maybe jacked them. I don't know. Maybe not. Went to AutoZone, got those things. They don't fit. They're off by just a hair, a fractionette, man. Like, they were just barely off. So we're thinking, okay, and those are the wing nuts. Well, they weren't on there in the first place. Let's just continue taking the old belts off, put the new belts on, and it'll still be better than it was before. So the new belts are on now, as you can see. And this one's going on the bottom. And we get the new belts on anyways. Boo does, the Boo-doo. When he tightens it, he gets the leverage there again with the tire iron. And then continues with the smaller tool. The tire iron is by torque. And I imagine if we had the right tools for this, like an actual mechanic shop, they would just pull the tire right out, get straight in there, not have to bend around it and stuff. They may use something like an endoscope, but only if necessary. Like, look how much that helps. I mean, it's ridiculous how much it helps. And you don't have to keep it, like, up in your engine like that, you know? That you can move it down on the ground next to you, but then you're already there, so what's the point of that? But whatever, it helps you see things. And if you've ever had an endoscopy, God willing, you haven't had to go through that. But if you might, this is similar to what the doctors use when they're going inside your body. So this is mostly for plumbing and engines and things like that. Also for security, because it is a camera. So you can see again, his glove is in the shot there. Or is it my glove maybe? But we were covering the lens. And now I remember this part. He's actually cleaning the lens because I couldn't see anything. It gets a little gunked up sometimes. Or maybe I'm cleaning it. You have to pull it out and then put it back in like that. Now you can see again. But we're trying to get that bolt off and tighten it rather at this point. It's really hard to get it really super tight. And the problem we're having is that the second belt on the bottom belt is that it's really, really loose right here, right now, in this moment. So the top belt seems tight, pretty darn tight actually. Yeah, we're thinking, how are we going to get the bottom tight, you know? I had a crazy idea of just taking the golden plate to the right upper screen that you just saw on the endoscope camera and rewind if you missed it. But right down in there, underneath, or yeah, just where the light is, basically, right where the light's pointing, where you can't quite see, you'll see a little gold plate. I had the idea of tightening that, maybe, you know, because he had loosened it for some reason. I'm not sure why exactly. It's weird when, like, he's down there, he's doing most of the physical work because he's a handy guy. I'm just up here talking to him, helping him, like his assistant, right? He's the doctor, I am the assistant. But suddenly things went south and this surgery got botched. Thank God we weren't working on a human body, because they'd be dead. Sometimes the best way to learn what to do on your car is to watch other people screw it up. And that's what I'm going to show you guys here, how we totally botched this job on these belts. All it was doing prior to this was squeaking a tiny bit. Okay, just a continuous squeak. And it only did it for a few minutes, and it would really only do it when the air conditioning was on all the way, and even then it was sporadic, you know. It would do it for maybe 15 minutes, and then it would stop. And then it might do it for like 2 minutes, and then stop. So now it's just a constant squealing sound. It's really irritating. But that would be okay. But now we're hitting another obstacle. I'm about to show you what happens when I test drive it. I guess I better drive it now and see if it actually works still, but dang, this will be like Mario Kart, right? It's still squeaking when I start it, so that's not good. Maybe question mark, emphasis on the question mark. It doesn't really make sense, but if I turn the air on, maybe it'll stop squeaking. Can't tell over the sound of the air conditioner. But it seems like, yeah, now it's not squeaking. It's really, really weird. Is it not? Does anybody know about mechanic stuff? Like, you could leave in the comments section, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd appreciate you. It's still squeaking though, I can hear it. You know what it is? The top wing nut and the bottom wing nut are still missing, and that's just two nuts for me. Now it's time for the test drive. It used to only squeak if the AC was on. Now it still squeaks. It's hard to hear over the AC. But with the AC off, it squeaks the same amount. So let's take it for a little drive. Call this test drive of the year because, ooh, the steering wheel, the power steering's fucked. It won't steer. Seriously. It won't steer at all. Maybe if I move it a little more it will. No. Come on, tell me it's gonna steer. The steering wheel's locked. It's not steering. Nope. Wonder if I can pull it back to the right. I don't know. Now where am I gonna twist this thing? Eek. Oh my gosh. My car doesn't work. It broke when we were trying to fix it. AC belts from squeaking, now they squeak louder. And it doesn't turn! I still kind of want to try to take it for a drive around the block because it kind of turns. I don't think we pierced anything with power steering or... God, that's hard to turn. So I can steer when the air conditioner's on, which is interesting. Otherwise I can't steer at all. But see, with the AC on full blast, I can steer, which is really, really weird. Basically, I don't know if I can use my car. I'm gonna take it to the beep, beep, yeah, I don't have my seatbelt on. What are you, my mother or something? I'm gonna take it to the corner store, the 7-Eleven, and see if I can make it without dying. And here I don't have my seatbelt on. Well, you know, I don't like being confined, and you know. Anyway, here we go. I'm making a right. Let's see if it turns right. I'm going on a kind of big street, not a giant street. I had to jump out of the same exact car once before, so I didn't crash and die. So I landed on my right shoulder and still to this day because the seatbelt had slowed me down. This is interesting. Won't steer at all, like hardly at all without the air conditioner on. Those hard turns are really difficult to do. When I get back on the smaller streets, I'm gonna try some more of those. Because this is wiggity 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 whack, but maybe if it runs a tiny bit, it won't do it anymore. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic. If any of you guys know a good, trustworthy mechanic, I mean one who's not gonna allegedly take off your wing bolts so that you have to go back there. Those things don't come off that easily. They didn't just fall off, you know? So I'm gonna turn to the 7-Eleven. That's what I told you was close by. And turn in's a little rougher than we'd like. So we turn into a spot. It's pretty hard, but it's not as impossible as it was with the air conditioner off. Alright, I'm gonna go to 7-Eleven, get a soda or something, and come back to this. Alright, so now with a middle trip to 7-Eleven, these stay on the old school commercials. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Now the AC's on. I want to try with it off. Put it in reverse again. I can not barely turn. It's like steering a boat, I would say. Best metaphor I can think of. See, ouch. So the AC's got to go. It's really hard. Actually, it's harder than a steering boat. Now the AC's back on full throttle. You know what? I'm still having a really difficult time steering it. Once it's cranked all the way, it still makes that noise, that squeaking noise, like constantly, but I don't think it's as loud when the AC's off. I have to turn in the street here and there in a car, so let's say a prayer. Oh, that's a hard turn. I'm not even playing. Alright, now we got a left at a light, but there are no cars coming for like 200 yards. So we're going for it. That turn was easy. Good. Alright. I think I'm gonna die doing this. It's not really funny. A lot of people die in car accidents, God forbid, you know? But check this out, like, I'm gonna make a left up here in a minute, see what happens. It seems that I'm gonna leave my seatbelt off in case I need to jump out the car while it's moving or something. I'm not even playing. Alright, I don't want to be confined in a car that may be, like, you know, extremely hazardous. I might have got to let it go bailing into a bush or something like I've done in the past. Left turn. It's pretty easy, which it's grinding still, like really squeak. I'm gonna go for a random right turn here at the street. This right turn seems to be. Well, and then I'll just do a U-turn. It's really tight. Almost hit a fucking curb, almost like an inch away. Now make a right. Ooh. It's just like, I don't even like hearing that noise. Eek. I wonder if I'm gonna die. Let's find out. I believe in predetermined destiny. Like, God already predetermined when we live, like when we're gonna be born and when we die before we already even are born, or after, before we even die even. That's why things like suicide are, you know, they'll send you to Hades because you're going against that natural nature and order of the way things are already supposed to be. That's why a lot of people think you'll go to Hades if you kill yourself. That means hell, kids. Some other people think we're already living in hell. Now on the straightaway it's not bad. On this bend up here, let's see what it does, alright? I know I should buckle up because that beep is annoying, but no. Not my thing right now. Right now, it's about the car, not me. Turn. Now this is a slow turn to park. It's not as bad. So I would say I would not take this thing on a freeway. Kind of smells funny. Now that I'm in park, I can't straighten out the wheel. It's next to impossible. So this car, my car, is fucked.